G'day folks, and welcome to this playthrough of the Jaws of Victory. This is the first scenario. Konev springs the trap. The second Ukrainian front attacks. Now I'll just quickly zoom out to show you what we're looking at here. So Vassal, I selected this scenario 1 in Vassal, and it automatically kind of cuts the map in half. So we're looking just at the east half of that map. I actually cannot scroll across to the west. So Corson is really on the left side. When technically, when you look at the whole map, it's in the center. You'll see all these X's, a lot of immobilized units. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me show you. So this is the playbook, and this is the scenario we're looking at. So it is pretty much a 7-turn scenario, just focused on that initial attack by the second Ukrainian front. The scenario instructs us to start by in the Soviet. What's the phase I'm looking at? No, I don't want that. I want the sequence of play. Where is it? Record track, CRT, train effects. Turn record track? No. It's somewhere. I don't want to retire. We start in the Soviet barrage phase. Basically, we're placing Soviet barrage units. Before I do that, though, as I said, there are a lot of units that are immobilized, a lot of them for turns 1 and 2. Historically, Hitler ordered all these German units to maintain their positions along the Dnieper River, which runs along the northeastern edge of the map here. So these units are not allowed to move until certain conditions are met. And there's quite a few conditions. Isolation, or if they're quite diverse as well. So it's not just the one rule for all these units. There are different rules for different units. If I can try and remember or summarize a few of them. So you've got the continuous front units. These units around here have to... So I think this is the front line here, this dotted line, and you have to have a unit within 2 hexes of each hex along that line. So if you think of this hex here, there's a unit 2 hexes away. If you think of this unit hex here, there's a unit 2 hexes away. If you think of this hex here, there's a unit, and so forth and so on, all along that sort of dotted line. In addition to that, there are all these various other restrictions. So I won't go through all of them, but yeah, you can see there are very few German units that can actually move. This little sort of section here, they're catching the brunt of the Soviet offensive, and they are allowed to move, but elsewhere they're not. And the Soviets also have some restrictions on units that can't move until turn 5. In fact, 5th Guard Army cannot move or declare combat until turn 5. So I'm going to jump in, start playing. I'm recording this so I can pause this as I need to consult rules. So if you see the map jumping around a little bit between conversations, it's just as I've paused and read things and looked around. So we start with the what is the phase again? It is the artillery barrage segment of the event phase of game turn 1. Now the scenario starts with, let me zoom right in because this is really where we're looking. Here are my barrage units, and they reflect, you can see the 53rd, what are we looking at, 53rd, they're all the way up here, 16th Division Artillery and the 4th Guards Army Artillery. Okay, so all these units here are kind of condensed into these barrage units. And now, we execute a barrage. We basically take these barrage markers and we can place them, well, up to 2 hexes away. Are they all up to 2 hexes away? Yeah, they're all up to 2 hexes away. Up to 2 hexes away. So, we can put, for example, one there, one there. We can, I think... I can't flip it. Control A. I can flip it. Okay. So I can place it 3 hexes away by flipping it, and it just reduces that barrage strength, which basically reduces the column shifts. What we're looking at here is the number of column shifts applied to the combat. So I've got one up here, one here, and then I'll throw another one here. So I'm trying to smash cross this river, smash the front. That's the idea. Down here, we'll throw one here, and last one there, I think. Let me just check the terrain here. Yeah, so we've got a blown bridge, attack into Pisarivka, or let me look at my formations here. Yeah, we've got an infantry division and an anti-tank component. Down here we have got the same pretty much. But this is historically where they drove west. This seems to be an easy target, so I think I've got to clear them out. So I think I'll do that. Okay, so yeah, you can see barrage markers all along the front. Barrage markers are placed. So we've placed 3 markers per barrage unit on hexes. I flipped the one that was 3 hexes away. And then during the combat segment, we'll add, they get added to the column shifts. We also, no other Soviet artillery can be used in hexes that receive a barrage. We add a +1 modifier to the German defensive artillery die roll for combats receiving a barrage, which, if we look at the artillery support, is actually punitive. So you want low rolls. So adding 1 to the German die roll is going to hurt them. All defending units in a declared combat receive an automatic disorganized result in addition to any other. So all these formations will automatically be disorganized. Then after the combat, we remove the barrage markers. Remove the remaining barrage effects. Yeah, that's about it. That's the main thing. So we have, I found my sequence of play. There it is. There's a separate download on the New England. It's an updated sequence of play. This is what I'm looking at. It's not with the game. It's on the website. Although you do get a sequence of play guide in the hard physical copy of the game. Okay, so I have completed the artillery barrage segment. Now there is a small step in the sequence of play, which is the front boundary adjustment segment. This is, if you're playing through the full campaign, the first and second Ukrainian fronts have a nominal boundary line that they're not allowed to cross. At this point, you can, you may be able to remove that boundary line, but we're not worried about that in this smaller scenario. So we can proceed to the replacement reinforcement phase. So, bringing up the game turn record track, you can see replacements are tracked along here. There is nothing for at least the first 3 turns. And this is just a reminder that there are no Soviet reinforcements and there are German reinforcements on the east map, which you can see down here. So nothing on the west map. You can see here on the east map we'll have some German reinforcements. So it says refer to the current turn of the Soviet reinforcement schedule. Okay, so yes, because we're in the Soviet player turn. So there's nothing for the Soviet player to place at present. So we can go straight to the movement phase, reserve declaration. So I will also point out, you will notice all these little reserve markers. These are placed during setup. They are fixed reserves. You have to place these units in reserve. So you do have the option as well to place a couple of other units in reserve. I haven't. Although maybe I should, because I've got a couple of these units behind the lines, and I'm not sure what. Oh, they might be able to. I can move them around, and I'm sure I can get them to the front. So I've got all these units in reserve. I think most of the units in reserve, I'm happy to keep in reserve, and there are no others really that I want to put into reserve. I'll just see what I can do with the units that are along the front. So, with reserve declaration segment complete, I can move to the movement segment. In the movement phase, I can move some, none, or all my units using tactical or strategic movement. So I've spent some time looking, pausing the video and just looking at what possible moves and toying with the idea of sort of moving a little bit into here. So if I move into here, if I move a stack into here, it creates a space here for me to move up this unit up to here. But moving zone of control to zone of control will, I think, force this division to become, I think it's disorganized. Actually, no, cancel that at all. Nope. So Soviet infantry units cannot move ZOC to ZOC. Germans can. They get a regroup marker, but Soviets can't unless they're an armoured brigade with a star, motorised infantry, reconnaissance, assault gun, or cavalry division with an army unit stacked with it. So I can't even do that if I wanted to. What I can do, however, is move this unit 1, 2 down to here. Just give me an extra infantry division attacking across the river there. Yes, they're attacking across the river into that village, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a village. Because the terrain FX chart doesn't tell me what the terrain is. There we go. Town, village. Yeah, it's a village. So yeah, they'll be taken to that village, but it gives me an extra unit. And I'll leave them behind. And then everyone else, I'm pretty happy with where they are. I mean, this is only a 2-step infantry unit, so they don't exert a zone of control, but they do, the units near them exert zones of control. So this 5-step or 4-step unit here exerts a zone of control, as do these units here. So that means that if I did try and cross that river, well, I can't actually cross the river. Yeah. Just exploring. A lot of options, a lot of restrictions on movement. Okay, so look, movement was pretty straightforward. Not much happening at all. No movement happening up here in the north. I'm just going to keep all these units exactly where they are. So it was actually quite slow. It took me a while behind the scenes, but we've gone through the movement segment. Units in reserve can't move. The Germans can attempt armor intercept if I'm moving armor, but I'm not doing that. And I didn't move any Soviet artillery, so they don't. So when you move artillery, when you move Soviet artillery, they have either a no fire 2, which basically means they can't fire for 2 turns, or a no fire 1. It's if they have. Oh, here we go. This little marker down here. So this little 1 in the bottom right corner here, that's a no movement 1. This is a no movement 2. So you can see heavier artillery. It's a artillery brigade, much stronger, and well, I guess it takes them longer to set up. That's the idea. So yeah, minimal movement. We can go straight to the combat phase. Now I get the fun part. I get the combat markers out. Where are the combat markers? All right, might need to pause and find the combat markers. And here they are in the general markers section. Of course, they should have been there. Okay, so let's start off. We know we're going to attack here. We know we're going to attack here. We know we're going to attack here. I don't quite know how we're going to attack there yet, but that's what we're doing. Kind of along the front there. All right, so attacking down here. Now, there's I think this is a. Is that counted as a lake? Yeah, a lake or major river hex side. So normally, if you're attacking a unit, which I'll be taking down here, and you have another unit in your zone of control, but I don't think zones of control extend across lakes. So ZOCs, yep, ZOCs and ZOIs do not extend across these hex sides. So I don't have to worry about attacking this unit, this formation here. Okay, so no combat here. But if this formation attacks, then they'll be halved unless I attack here, which means I think basically they'll have to suck it up and be halved. I don't think it matters how many units are in. So if they attack this way, for example, towards Rementarovsky, then they've got 2. Oh, hold on, is there an infantry capable? I don't think there is. So I don't think they exert a zone of control. All right, as you can see, I'm wrapping my head around the rules here. My point is, and the main point I'm making here is, I don't think it matters how many zones of control are exerted onto the attacking unit. They're halved regardless of however many. I'll double check that now though. Yep, I don't think it matters. It just says combat strength of an attacking unit is halved if it's in the ZOC of an enemy unit that is not being attacked during the current combat section. Yep, so basically, yeah, they're going to attack down here. Oh, hold on a second, hold on, because another rule is that zones of control don't extend across rivers. They do not extend across a river unless an opposing unit attempts to move across. So this unit can freely attack down here. Yes, there are units here, but that river here... Wait, is it a river or a stream? It's a stream. What's a river? A river... Oh, okay, a river's got a blue line along it. So that's a river. Where was I looking? That's a stream. Yeah, that's definitely a stream. So the ZOC would extend across that stream. Interesting. Terrain effects chart. Does it distinguish between streams? Yes. And rivers? Yes. Okay. So, yep, they will be halved. But then this unit can attack down here. So basically what I'm looking at is attacking this hex here. 1, 2. And then maybe... Oh, okay, what do I do here? This now, that is... Oh, okay, I'm just looking. There's a river here. A river running along through here, but it turns into a stream here. So... okay, what do I do here? Do I try and push? I think I need to... I think I need to attack here and maybe also here as well. So I'm looking for combat here and then combat here. Could be tough, but I do have extra artillery. So I've used the barrage, but I've got extra artillery behind the lines here, which I can draw upon to support these 2 combats here. And that's what I'll do. So I will attack. I think I'll attack. I'll send both of these units down this way. 1 unit attacking here and these 2 attacking here. They'll be halved, but we'll deal with it. And then we'll see what happens. We are learning. We will make mistakes, both rules and tactical. I could be making a heap of tactical mistakes here, but yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm just going to double check the scenario rules because we're now, with the combat declaration complete, we now go to the German armor reaction segment. And I just want to double check if there is a German armor reaction phase in this scenario. A quick check tells me, well, I can't see anything saying there isn't. So basically what this means is that in this phase, after combat is declared, German armor units can conduct a 1 hex reaction movement. As kind of the name of the segment is pretty much self-explanatory. They move any armor unit 1 hex as long as it does not begin movement in a ZOC or zone of influence. It can be an adjacent hex, including a declared combat. So you can see here I've got this armor here and this armor here, and I can move basically these formations 1 hex to support my defense. Could be good, I guess. I'm thinking, and I've got this. Wow, these guys here. So I think let's utilize these rules. Wow, more up here as well. So Germans have all their art. Wow. Okay. Hold on. I do need to be. Oh yeah, stacking should be fine. I think I can. Okay. I might hold those in reserve and just move this formation down to there. Okay, keep these guys where they are. No armor adjacent here. Move Like I've already got some armor in that hex. I'm going to move them up to really strengthen that hex. Yep. And then I'm going to move these guys across to there. Oh, hold on. No, I can't because they started in... Oops. They are in a zone of control. But these guys can, and yeah, I'm going to move them up to there to bolster that with the improved position. And yeah, there's no armor there. So that's the German armor reaction segment. Fairly straightforward. We now move to the combat resolution segment, and each declared combat is resolved individually using the combat resolution segment, basically. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. And I'm going to pay particular attention to these rivers and streams. I can imagine this would be a hard thing to notice if you're playing with a physical map. You can see the rivers don't follow the hex. I like the graphical representation. It doesn't, perfectly follow the hex spines, but it could be very hard to see with all these units if you're playing with a physical copy of the game. It's nice that we can just hide all these pieces quite conveniently. Okay, so let's start with this attack here. A declaration of combat support. It costs 1 supply point per supported command. So we've got the 4th guards here. We've got this unit attacking here, and yeah, we'll throw 2 against 1 here. So we've got these 2 here attacking from the 4th guards. That's going to cost spend, let's see, decrease control A. It's going to cost 1 supply point, just like that, for the formation, 4th guards. Now, German, what are we looking at? I thought I'd missed a step. During the combat declaration segment, I should have declared my Soviet air, so I need to go back and do that. I missed that. That's that because I was reading the German combat air support, and I was like, well, shouldn't the Soviets have declared their air support first? Yes, they should have during that combat declaration segment. So let me fix that up now. Okay, so the way we do this is Soviet records track, Second Ukrainian Front. You can see they have 3 combat air support points, basically three aircraft they can place. And I need to think about where the critical points are. I don't think this is one of them. I think the critical points are going to be here. I think this is going to be an easy combat to win. Here. And then maybe this one here. So I'm not going to draw an air support for this combat. I'm going to draw all 3. So let me get to the Soviet records track. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then I find my Soviet air and I draw 3 markers. And what I say, I was going to have 1 for this combat, 1 for this combat, and I think this one in the middle could be critical. Well, it's going to be the hardest one to win, so I'm going to do that and hope that's a good modifier. So 3 reduction in Soviet air support. Yep, I think that's it. So basically, when declaring air support, I reduce the number of air support markers by 1, randomly draw an air marker, place it front side up next to the declared combat hex. When I flip this over, it'll have a number indicating the offensive combat air support value, which is effectively column shifts. More CAS may not be yet. Unused air support missions can't be carried over. They can only be used to support combat for their own front. Only 1 air mission per player is allowed per combat. So that's done. Okay, so now, do the Germans have any air support? They have 1 air support mission. Okay, so now we get back to the declaration of combat. We've supported this combat. The Germans decided they want air combat support. They've only got 1 point. They will not support this. We have attacker artillery. That's out of range. That's not. So range of 2. The attacker declares first. I'll declare that this artillery unit will be participating. Cross-reference that to the corresponding column on the artillery... on the CRT, on the artillery support table. Now I can bring in more, but I don't have more, pretty much. So I've got this unit only. Yep. So, what is that? A mortar regiment. And I'm just going to double check. Attacker artillery first. Yep. So, and cross-reference that total, and then roll a die. So it says artillery support. Yep. So I don't think... oh, the Germans do have some artillery support as well. It's interesting. The artillery support section says each player totals their barrage and cross-reference, and then both players put their artillery, and each player rolls a die. Cross-reference, blah, blah, blah. But the sequence of play suggests that this is done separately. Attacker first and then defender. So I'm going to do this attacker first and then defender. We'll do it just procedurally as outlined in the sequence of play. So I've allocated 2. Offensive. This is offensive. This little 2 here is offensive support. The little number is defensive support. So we have an offensive support of 2 on this combat. So I look at the artillery support points here. It's a 2. Then I roll a die, and it's a 6, which gives me no column shifts. So not a very successful combat. And then I flip that over to show that they are out of ammunition. Okay. Now the Germans can counter. They do have this artillery here. It is the only this artillery can only reach this combat 1, 2, 3. So I will use them. Where is it? CRT, right? CRT. German artillery is 3. It's 1 support point. Let me just double check if there's anything else in the vicinity. Oh, we have some artillery here as well. They have a range of 3. I might hold them back for something else. What else we got? And we have some more down here, which can be used here. Okay, so we're going to use this artillery here to give us 1 defensive support point. So 1 here, the Germans roll. It's a 1, which gives them 2 column shifts. So CRT, 2 column shifts, two left. Just have to remember that. Is this a special barrage? It is. The Germans are defending in a special barrage combat, which has a +1. So it's only 1 to the left. A support table is not used for Soviet special barrages yet. Okay. But here we go. Here's the modifier here. +1 to German defensive support during a Soviet barrage combat. So the barrage is just so disruptive that even German counter artillery struggles, and that's what just happened. +1 modifier. So that's 1 column shift to the left. Done. All right, we then get to assault engineers. There are no assault engineers participating in this combat. The Germans can declare no retreat. This is interesting. Okay, so opening combat. They'll take an extra step loss if they... they'll take an extra step loss and they'll cancel a retreat. Do I want that to happen? I kind of think I do. I was watching some other videos where people were worried about step losses, but look, along this river with its defensive benefits, once this position along the river is lost, this is a stream, this is open terrain, this is my best, and I'm in an improved position. So I'm going to check the rules, make sure I can declare a no retreat. And I can't see anything telling me that I can't issue no retreat orders on this first turn. In fact, if anything, Hitler would have ordered no retreat. So I'm going to say no retreat for this combat. So unless I get actually, hold on a sec. hold on, because I do recall that anything suffering a barrage causes an automatic disorganization. What cancels a no retreat order? Because it could be completely redundant. Okay, so no retreat, and the defender's not retreating. The defender remains in place, but occurs an additional step lop. A disorganized result nullifies a no retreat declaration. A disorganized result will nullify a no retreat declaration. But okay, no retreat can be declared in woods, village, town, or forest. I am clear terrain if all attackers are attacking across a river or stream, which is what's happening there, or if I'm in an improved position or minefield. So I'm both of those. But the barrage, let me just double check the barrage again, because all defending units in a declared combat that contain a barrage receive an automatic disorganized result. They receive an automatic disorganized result, so they will be disorganized, so there's no point declaring that no retreat under these barrage markers. That's an important thing. It's a little rule tucked away in the barrage section. All defending units in a declared combat that contains a barrage effects marker will add an automatic disorganized result, and if you get an organized result during combat, it cancels the no retreat. So there's no point declaring no retreat. Okay, that's good to know. Good. I'm glad I sorted that out. So now we get to combat odds determination, and I have got, okay, let's work this out. We're attacking across a river. Now attacking across a river, these are just basically, I'm going to send these two formations. So we've got the 5th Guards Airborne and the 62nd Guards Infantry Division attacking across this river. Sorry. Attacking into or across, they halve their attacking strength. This is what I was looking for. So we go basically 8 and 8, 16 and a half. So we're looking at attackers 16.5 versus 13. Okay. 16 and a half versus 13. So looking at 1 to 1. I'm already worried. Okay, let's work through the combat sequence of play. It's quite robust, as I said. Okay, combat odds. Supported, unsupported. Yeah, so it is supported, so we're good there. I'm going to go through this carefully and slowly to make sure I get everything. It is supported. I have applied the impact of terrain. The ZOC rules don't apply because there are no ZOCs being exerted on the attacking units that aren't being attacked. There are no disorganized units. So, again, we have 1 to 1. Place the CRT odds marker. Okay, so we have, where is the CRT odds marker? CRT odds. Let's put this here. There we go. Handy to have that. Look at 1 to 1. Then we apply the shifts. Artillery. Now it's saying, okay, this is interesting. Now it's saying apply your artillery results, but we've already done that. So now the Germans go 1 to the left. Combat air support. Was there any combat air support? No, there was no combat air support on this. We had the barrage marker, which applies 2 automatic shifts to the right. Okay, that's when that takes effect. Soviet division attack only. Okay, so this is an interesting rule. Soviet division attack only, 12.9. So each Soviet division with 2 or more steps has an intrinsic combat bonus that shifts the column 1 to the right when attacking. It applies only to attacks, but is not applied if they're halved for being in a ZOC at a supply extended. So that applies, and we get 1 to the right. Combined arms. We don't have combined arms on the attack. There is no combined arms on the defense. There is no armor at all in this combat, so no armor superiority. It's not taking place on a hilltop. We have no assault engineers, and there are no out of supply effects. So we are looking at 3 to 1. Not bad considering we started at 1 to 1 and had an adverse hold on a sec. I had a barrage marker and I applied artillery. I should not have done that. You can't add artillery to a combat. So ignore that artillery. They did not fire. They did nothing anyway, which is good. But I shouldn't have rolled for them because I already had a barrage marker on that combat. Okay. Now we roll 2 different D6s, a black and a red. And we get a result of black 1, red 5. Okay, so if we had armor, we would determine and apply armor, anti-armor losses. We don't have to worry about that. The sum of the 2 dice, a 6, determines the combat result. So we're looking at 3 to 1, 6, which is a 1/1R. Okay, so 1 step loss each, and the defenders have to retreat. Now, okay, the sum of 2 dice, step loss. Okay, so the step loss rules are pretty interesting. You basically have to take it from your strongest unit. Must be taken from a participating infantry type unit with the highest unmodified combat strength. This has the highest strength, so we have to decrease them. They're down to 4 steps now. These guys take a step loss, and they're down to 4 steps as well. Oh, wait. I forgot about the improved position. Why wasn't that listed in the rulebook? Defender. Where are my improved positions? Minefields, out of supply, hilltop, combined arms, artillery. I'm just going to double check that. I thought improved positions give you a column shift. Bridges, IP. Effects. It adds 2 strength points to the defensive combat strength of the hex. Okay, adds 2 strength points. So that was basically doesn't change anything. It was 16.5 versus 15, which doesn't change anything at all. Doesn't enable them to cancel the retreat. Yep, so they have to now retreat. That's the step loss, disorganization. They also get a disorganized result. Okay, because of the barrage. The Germans are allowed to break down during a retreat, and then they must retreat. So it's after all that they then have to retreat. Now, during a normal retreat, the owning player retreats their unit. During if there's a breakthrough result, the attacking player gets to retreat. Okay, the path of retreat, blah, blah, blah. Must retreat 1 or 2 hexes as indicated. Must retreat 1 hexes. Okay, I don't know why, as indicated, I don't know when it would ever be 2 hexes. Oh, okay, it's a breakthrough. Breakthrough. So it's a 1 hex retreat. I think we'll retreat back to here. So we can move that marker. Retreat back to here. That'll be removed. You're going to have to make sure I remember to take my strength markers with me. The barrage marker can pretty much be deleted, I believe, because it won't be used anymore. I'll double check that in a moment. and then we get an advance after combat. Okay, so I'm going to advance those guys into there. And the other unit can't advance because there's a limit of 1 Soviet division, so they'll just have to stay there, which is fine. Okay, so just double checking everything. We've conducted retreat. We've conducted our advance after combat. There's no breakthrough. Remove all combat and air markers, but retain disorganized and breakthrough. That's it. All individual combats must resolve. So that's 1 combat resolved. So pretty cool, pretty smooth, I think. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we'll move just 1 hex to the south, and we'll look at this combat here, a weaker German unit now. Okay, so let's. We've got combat determination. We need to determine support. So again, we've got 2 formations from the. Actually, hold on, what have we got here? These guys. Formations from the 4th Guards, which will cost 1 supply point to support that attack. We've already declared Soviet. The Germans can declare defensive air support. They won't declare anything here. We've already got our barrage, so we can't allocate any more artillery to this combat. The Germans, however, can declare defensive artillery, and they've got this unit over here, which they might throw in. They did use that one, didn't they? So they're flipped, which they might throw in the mix. So it is just 1 point. Yeah, 1 point of support. It'll be a -1 dice roll modifier, again because of the barrage. So let's roll a 5 down to 4. So it's +1 modifier, which moves it up to a 6. So no German artillery helping out in this combat. They are spent. They are flipped. Okay. Any assault engineers? No, we've just got infantry and we've got some AT guns. Okay. The defender may declare no retreat, but it'll be nullified by the barrage, so no point in doing that. We then determine the combat odds and modifiers. So let's just take a look. So this unit is at full strength. This unit they'll be halved because they're attacking across a river. So we're looking at 20. Oh, we've got some armor here as well. 25, 29, plus 10 is 39, 39, 41. I believe. Terrain effects. Let's have a look at this. Attacking across the river. They are. I don't think it matters what type of unit they are. They're all halved attacking across. So no problem there. Okay. So we're looking at 41 versus 10. 11, 12, which is CRT 3 to 1. So 3 to 1. ZOC rules don't apply. Terrain, no other. It's in clear terrain. No disorganized or regroup adjustments. So 3 to 1. Round down to match that. That's been placed. If the combat has armor, anti-armor, then flip the odds marker to the back side as a reminder. So we flip that. We see some tanks. All right. So artillery. So okay, we've already done. So we've already done the German artillery. The Soviet artillery. Okay, just double checking that to see if it was modified. The Soviet artillery adds 2 shifts to the right, the barrage. No combat air support missions involved. A Soviet division gets a 1 column shift to the right. We now have combined arms. So per 12.7, the Soviet player receives combined arm shift for each tech that contains. Oh no. It has to have. We have to have that unit with a star, which we don't have. I was thinking I've got tanks here and I've got infantry. Surely I get it. But so the Germans get it if they have armor and attack capable infantry. The Soviet player must have an armored brigade with a red star. No other Soviet units can get it. Okay, good to know. So no combined armors for the Soviets. Armor superiority, however, is a different thing. So, it provides shifts. It's determined by comparing the number of white dots. So on the largest, so you can see this unit here has 2 white dots. You can see here the defender has 1 black dot. Okay. So hold on. No, my apologies. This is armor superiority. You compare white dots against white dots. It's 2 against 0. With 2 white dots more to the Soviets, they get 2 further shifts. Okay, this is this armor superiority. White dots attacker minus defender 2 gives us 2 shift. Large attacker white dots versus large defender white dots. Okay, that's armor superiority. No hilltop, no declared engineers, no outer supply effects. So now again we roll 2d6, but now we've got armor, anti-armor combat, and this is where the black dots and the black die roll plays a role. So I'm going to roll the dice. It's a 3. So we're looking at 1 DR breakthrough result. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to recall this 1/1 1/1 DR breakthrough. That's the result, which is, apart from the 1 step loss for the attacker, pretty good for them. They get this breakthrough. But we're looking at 1, this is the German roll, 1, and the Soviet roll 2. So now we've got to work out armor, anti-armor combat. Per 12.12.1. Okay, so the attacking player determines the largest number of white dots. If the number on the die, 2, is less than or equal to the number, which it is, 2 white dots, they rolled a 2, a defending armor unit, or anti-armor unit, a defending armor unit, yep, or anti-armor unit, which means that German German infantry unit, which was the anti-armor unit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a step loss, because they are the anti-armor unit. They're putting their anti-tank guns in the way of this armor. However, all right, so that's that done. However, the defending player determines the largest number of white and black dots, which is 1. If the number on their die, 1, is less than or equal to, an attacking armor unit must take a step loss. So not great for the Soviets. They flip, and now they've got a cadre armor unit, which is not great. So yeah, they cause an infantry step loss, but they lost an armor step loss in the process. So that is the armor anti-armor combat step. Then we get to the combat resolution. The sum, as I said, 3. We got step losses. We have to lose it from, I believe, the largest attacking unit. So they lose a step loss. Then these guys lose a step loss. They're down to 2. That's going to be gone in a moment. They are, hold on, quite a lot happening. They're disorganized. Place disorganized. They retreat, and it's a breakthrough. So the attacking player retreats the defending units 2 hex. So I get to choose where they go. And this is going to be interesting. Actually, not so interesting. They're already disorganized. So Soviet units that retreat, German units that retreat into enemy ZOCs, units that already regroup or disorganized suffer no additional effects. So if they weren't disorganized, they would become disorganized. It doesn't really matter where they retreat. So there's a few retreat priorities. You can't retreat into a ZOC. Well, you have to avoid a ZOC if you can. But although the attackers get to move this, I don't think they can move it here because it's in a ZOC. So they kind of have to retreat across, or have to force the Germans to retreat that way. Okay, that said, now the attackers get a breakthrough marker. Okay, so let's find a breakthrough marker. Soviet specific breakthrough. No, where can I find a breakthrough marker? Okay, I found the breakthrough markers. They're on the back of the you get a combat marker, and then you got to replace it with a breakthrough marker. Okay, so got a breakthrough there, and we got a breakthrough there. Okay, that was a strange place to find the breakthrough markers, on the back of combat markers. Wow. Okay, so where are we up to? We've done the retreat. I think now we're up to so a disorganized unit suffers no additional effects when it becomes disorganized again. So disorganized is the worst they can be. Nothing further happens to that unit. We've done our retreat. We're just going to do our breakthrough now. Okay, so breakthrough. So just clarifying, the attacker retreats the defender's unit 2 hexes. The attacker may then advance his units up to 2 hexes in accordance with the advance rules. Okay, crossing a river, that might be an exception to that. I feel it was, if you're crossing a river. And it's not all units. Only armor, mechanized, motorized infantry, or reconnaissance units can get that breakthrough. So there's not a lot of those. I did have my tanks. But certainly not those infantry. So look, I think the breakthrough is going to be a bit redundant. They can then move 1 hex, so breakthrough movement. Units with a breakthrough marker can move 1 hex, ignoring zones of control and armor intercept, and then they can conduct a breakthrough combat. But again, it's only that armor, mechanized, motorized infantry, or reconnaissance units. So not much good here. So all we're really looking at is a 2 hex advance. 1, 2. They don't get a breakthrough marker. These units can just go 1 and stop there, I guess. That's all they can do. They're done. And that's the end of that combat. So we did get a breakthrough, but look, I'm not too happy. The Soviets shouldn't be too happy with that combat. They suffered that armor loss, which hurt. And did I count the 1? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, this unit down here suffered a step loss. Okay, that's the end of that combat. So I can move around to here, and I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm going to throw the 4th Guards, these units against this unit here, and then I'll try and cross the river with this formation down here. Yeah, so I've got going to attack with these 2 stacks up into this area up here. Okay, so 4th Guards, again, they want to spend a supply. That's done. Supplied, supported. I have my combat air support But I don't reveal this yet. Not yet. I am going to get out of the way though. I can declare eligible artillery. Well, I've already got my barrage marker here. I'm just going to line these out so that I can see them all. The defending player can then announce defending artillery. So yeah, look, we'll draw on this here for that 1 point of support, and we'll see how we go. So 1 against a barrage, that's going to be +1. A 4, 5 is not going to do anything. So no love for German artillery. Assault engineers, no, we don't. Oh, we do have assault engineers. Look at that. There they are. Assault engineers. So I may declare an assault engineer bonus for the combat in a supported attack only. So per 12.9.1, it shifts the combat ratio 1 column to the right. I mean, 1 shift is allowed regardless. Only if stacked with a attack-capable infantry of their division. Yep. So, and the defender can declare no retreat. Again, made redundant by that. So let's work out the odds. I have got, we're not attacking across a river. Wow, it's just way out in the open. So I've got 20, 28, plus 16, 28, 38, 44 to 10, 11, 12. Look at some armor. 44 to 12, which will give me 3 to 1 on the CRT. 3 to 1. 1 for those assault engineers before I forget anything. And then, what else we got? We've got a supported combat, no terrain effects, no ZOC penalties, no disorganized. What other column shifts? We have 2 for the German barrage. Now we flip our air support marker. What just happened? Air support revealed. I can't see it. There it is. That's a 0. Okay. And we can return that to the gut. Okay. We have a Soviet division on attack. We have got no combined arms modifiers, but the Germans should do, because they now have got they meet their conditions for combined arms, both an armor unit and an attack capable, which shifts it 1 to the left. Yep, that's right. We're not on a hilltop. I've already used my assault engineers, no out of supply, so we can roll. And again, we will have some armor superiority effects here, so let's consider that. 5 and a 4, I can't imagine that would help us with armor superiority. Our attacking armor, where are we? Has 2 dots, defending armor has 3 dots. Both of those numbers are higher, so there's no penalties. Oh, hold on, no, sorry. Attacking armor, I forgot about the armor superiority. So we've got attacking armor white dots 2, defending armor white dots 1. So we get 1, it's 1 shift to the right because of this. Okay. Then we consider the dice, which has no effect. So we just look at general combat, and we've rolled a 9 on this column, which is a dot R. Okay, so no step losses, just a retreat. And did I forget to add the, so it should have been 14, not 12. Still 3 to 1. So just retreat result here. Okay, interesting. Interesting because I can't overstack in this hex. So I think I've got to, and what formation is this? This is 389th and an element, so I guess I could split them up. So that's going to be disappearing. That's going to be disappearing as well. Just a pretty simple retreat, but they'll be overstacked in doing so. So what are my options here? Oh, they're disorganized anyway because of the the barrage. So I think we'll retreat back to there, and the armor can go up to there. No, actually, we'll bring the armor. So what I'm wondering is, can I split them? Must retreat. Units in a stack may retreat to separate paths, hexes. They're disorganized anyway, so basically they're going to be disorganized. Oh, look, I can... The path must... okay, so I think I have to retreat down to here, away from, because the final hex must be the maximum distance possible from the defending hex, not from the attackers. Yeah, okay. So they are disorganized. Just making sure this is a legal retreat, basically. They're disorganized, but I don't think their disorganization is contagious. I don't think they affect the other units in that hex. May retreat into, the units may retreat into friendly occupied hexes in violation of stacking limits. And I'm not sure what happens to stacking. I don't think it can be good. So we'll do that. We'll retreat them in 2 different directions, and then we'll see an advance after combat. Just a little nudge up to the lines there. Okay, down to the 3rd combat here. 53rd. What is this? Corps Army. I'm not sure. 53rd. They have much more effective artillery barrages, which is interesting. So moving down to this combat here. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. Is it supported? Yes. We spend a 53rd supply point. Decrease that. The Germans can declare... Where are we? So looking here, the Germans can declare combat air support. I don't think they will. So nothing happening there. The attacking player has their artillery. Yep, they've got their barrage going on. The defending player can declare artillery. I don't think there's anything left they can use, so no. Do I have assault engineers? No, not here. So we work out the combat odds. It's supported. We are attacking across a stream into a village. So the stream halves our attacking, and the village, it's a village, not a town, right? Yeah, village, not a town. So the village doesn't have, oh yeah, here it is. +2 to the defender. Okay. So the defender now has strength of 7. So we're looking at 17, 21, 26 v7, which is just 3-1 on the CRT. 3-1. Oh no, because we're halved. So it's 13 on 7, which is 1-1. I'm halved attacking across that stream. 8, there's 8.5, 9, 10, 13, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13 on 7, which is just 1-1. Could not get that 1 extra point. Okay, 1-1. Artillery. This barrage gives us 3 column shifts. No combat air support for this one. It's a Soviet division attacking. No combined arms. I have 2 dots. They have none, so I get 2 further shifts for armor superiority. No assault engineers, no hilltop, no outer supply effects. There would not be an armor battle, so we're just looking at the combined result, which is a 6, which is a .1 breakthrough. So, .1, they are... Oh, they just flipped. They have to retreat 2 spaces. I'm going to move them 1, 2. And I do have armor that can break through. So I get to advance... I get to advance 2 hexes. 1... Let's get these markers out of the way. 1, 2. Hold on. Crossing a stream. I think I said that earlier. I forgot. These units crossing this river. Where'd they come from? Trail. Movement trail. Yeah, they cross that river, that broken bridge there. I just want to see if I'm allowed to advance. Advance after combat. Restrictions, non-attack capable units that cannot advance into prohibited terrain. But it doesn't say anything about may advance but may deviate from the path. Terrain effects. Okay, streams. A unit advancing across a stream must end its advance in the first hex. Damn. So they've got to stop there. A unit advancing across a stream must stop. A unit advancing across a river must end its advance in the first hex. So they've got to stop there as well. But these guys, I'm pretty sure they came from trail. Alt-M. I've just cleared them. Oh no, yeah, they came from there. So they could move 2. I could advance them another hex if I want. Do I want to push up into there? I don't think I do. I'm happy there. Armor, anti-armor, anti-air, and artillery can only retreat or advance across a river. So I don't think they can advance across that river. But they could go here, 1, 2. Like that. Same effect, just a different path. And they're fine. If it's traversed by bridge. So there's no bridge there. The bridge has been blown. So that anti-tank would have to move across the bridge here and then north. And likewise, these guys they can advance across that stream. Oh, hold on. No, maybe they can't. They can't, in fact. Of course, the bridge is blown. But they... Well, hold on. It's a stream. They can advance across the stream. Sorry. Streams, rivers, getting mixed up. Bridges, blown bridges. It's a blown bridge across a stream. It is there. It's hard to see, but the blown bridge across a stream. I can cross that, but must stop in the first hex entered. But then I get a breakthrough for that armored unit. Okay, and now I get my armor breakthrough. Okay, so units with a breakthrough marker may move 1 hex. Do I want to do that? Because it's really kind of like putting them out there. They get to move 1 hex. I just feel like they'd be really vulnerable to a counterattack. They can move 1 hex and then they can attack. They've got all these German units. What do they got? They're up there. They're disorganized. So they'll be like some pretty bad column shifts for the Germans if I attack that way. I'm just thinking, should I risk this attack to try? What I'm trying to do here is push the Germans out of this area, so I can like clear this road for my reserves to come flying through. That's what I would like to happen, but it's risky. I'd be looking at 1 to 2 with no artillery support. I would get 2 shifts, so that 1 to 2 would go up to 2 to 1. No, it wouldn't, because they're disorganized. So I would consider the effects of disorganization. Units movement and combat strength are halved, so it'd be 1 to 1. Oh, but is it worth risking another tank? I think it is. I just want to push them back a little bit. Okay, so basically breakthrough. Here's my breakthrough movement. Done. Now I get to my breakthrough combat. Breakthrough combat, you don't get any bonuses basically. And against adjacent enemy hex, I'm attacking to the north. Ignore Zox. It's supported. No artillery, air support, blah blah blah. But I get column shifts for armor superiority. That's it. Okay, so I'm looking at 5 on their halved. 5. So CRT's 5 and 5, looking at 1 to 1. I think they're in the open. Yeah, they are. So I'm not attacking across a stream or anything. So it's 1 to 1 in the open. And all I want here is just to nudge them back 1. Okay, so no artillery, no combat air support. It's not a Soviet division, no combined arms. Armor superiority. It's at least 1, so I get 1 shift to the right. Do they get their armor shift? I think they still do. No combined arms, no retreat. Engineers, no replacements. Armor cannot conduct. Armor units cannot perform 1 hex reaction. Artillery units, blah blah blah. Yeah, yep. So they can still use their armor. So it's 2 minus 1 is 1 shift, because they do have that little black dot there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we've resolved the combat. There's no hold on. Is there armor on armor combat? Yeah, because they're ASV, right? So let's see what happens. 3 and 3, so there's going to be no impact there. So we're looking at 6 on this CRT, which is going to be no effect. ... Oh, so close. All right, I tried. Alrighty, halfway through the combat phase is quite a lot to get through. All right, we're looking at this combat here. We're attacking down across. Is there a blown bridge? Yeah, blown bridge. Yeah, a blown bridge, a lake to the south there, so the ZOC doesn't extend across. It is going to be supported, so we're looking at 53rd supply being spent. The Germans, this is where the Germans will, I think they will draw on their 1 air support. So the German record track, 1 German air marker. We get a German air and we'll throw that out and see what happens. Okay, we do all this in a moment. German artillery supporting this combat. We do have this artillery here, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3. They can support this. 1 in defense, so I'm going to flip that. And this is the kind of unit that can support 2 combats in defense. So German artillery regiments can, you see when they flipped and spent, they can still support again, and then they get a no out of ammo marker. Yep. German artillery regiments, these ones down the south here. Okay, so they're supporting that defense. No assault engineers. So, combat odds. We are attacking across the stream. So, looking at 8, 9.5. Oh, geez. This is going to be tough. 9.5 versus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, looking at 1 to 2 combat odds. And we've got some tanks involved. This could be painful. They got a lot of they got a lot of white dots. Okay. Yeah, all right. Supported terrain halves my attack. I've already done that. No ZOC rules, no disorganized. Yeah, we've worked out the CRT. Artillery. Okay, so the Germans have that defensive, or they had that defensive 1, so they will roll +1 for no effect, so their artillery does nothing. The Soviets get their 3 column shifts, 1, 2, 3, through their barrage marker. We then have air, so let's flip this and let's flip this. So we have 1 in defense, 2 on attack, which is a net 1 to the Soviets. All right, that goes back to the cup. So that's combat air support. We have a Soviet division on the attack, so we get another 1 to the right. Armor superiority. Now this is where I think the Germans have. They've got 4 white dots to nothing. Wow. So that is 2 shifts back to the left. Oh, hold on. No. Because it's only, let me see this, 12.8. Let me double check. Okay, either attacker or defender receives, if armor superior applies a shift, the attacker or defender is determined by comparing the white dots to black dots are not used to determine. The attacker determines which attacking unit, none. If the defender's number is greater, which it is, shift it 1 column to the left. So just get a maximum of 1 column shift for the defender. Okay, so you basically ignore this and you just say if the defender is greater, they get 1 column shift. That's what happens. Alright, that's armor superiority. Hilltop, no assault engineers, no out of supply effects, so we can resolve the combat, but we do have armor. So let's look at these numbers. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, this is going to be hits on both sides. So these guys have 2 black dots. They rolled a 1, which is less than that, so they cause a hit on the largest lead unit. So they flip to cadre. But the Germans also rolled a 2, which is less than their white dots, so they cause a hit on that unit, and they're reduced to a cadre as well. So some heavy armor losses. Then we add this, we get a 3, which is 1-1R. Okay, so the lead unit takes a hit. This lead unit takes a hit, and they have to retreat 1 hex, and they're going to retreat back onto that hilltop, and the infantry can advance. There was a barrage, so these units are disorganized and they cannot advance across. No, it's a stream. They can advance across the stream and they must stop there. 1-1R, 3 result. Yep. All right, and that's done. So the Russians have advanced across the stream, but the Germans are pulling back in good order. It was an important combat. All right, moving around now, we've got this combat down here, and we are going to support it. So we're looking at 53rd, again, spending some supplies. Attacking, both of them attacking. These guys will be halved because there is a unit in their zone of control that they are not attacking. So we're looking at 10, 30, 32, 34. 34 on 7, which is going to be just, oops, sorry, that's going to be 4-1, which is where we are. And they do have a dot, so there will be some tank on tank action. Well, tank on anti-tank action. No German combat air support, no Soviet air support. The Soviets, German artillery. Now we're looking at the 47th Panzer. This unit here will flip to provide that 1 point of armor. They'll roll to see what they get. It's a 3 + 1 is 4, which will give them 1 column shift to the left. But that's negated by the 3, so it's net 2 to the right for the Soviets. Soviet division, yes. Armor superiority. What have they got attacking? Any white dots? No white dots, just a lot of black dots. And no white dots down here as well, so there's no armor superiority, no hilltop, I believe. Oh, it is a village. What does the village do? +2 to the defender, so it should be 9. So it should be 34 on 9, which is actually 3 to 1 instead of 4 to 1. So I'll just nudge that back 1 to the left. Okay, and then we can roll the dice, keeping our eyes on the die roll. So the Germans attacking, they only have 1 dot, but they actually cause a hit on this unit. And the 6 doesn't have any effect. And then it's a net 7, which is a -R retreat result. So they have to retreat 1 space, and they can advance into there. And I'll move, no, I'll hold them there. So not very eventful, but yeah. 2 more comments to go. We've got this big one here. This could be big. Okay. And I'm attacking with both of these 53rd. So we'll supply, geez, we're running out of supplies. I'm going to supply this one. Okay. I think I have a feeling I deleted the truck by accident earlier. Okay, so supplying this combat. Defensive artillery. We're looking at 47th Panzer. So these guys can still... Now they're getting out of ammo. I think it's an out of ammo marker. Out of ammo, mate. Yep, that's right. So they fired for a second time. They had 1. I'm just going to roll for this very quickly. A 2 + 1 is 3, which will give the Germans 1 column shift. We're looking at... Okay, what are we looking at here? We are looking at... These guys are attacking across the river, so they're half. So 10, 30, 32... 32 on 7, 8, 9. 32 on 9 is 3 to 1. 3 to 1. 1 left for the German artillery, but then we have... Didn't we have a barrage? We've used all our barrage markers, have we? Okay. Well, let's see what else we can get into this combat. All right. I've already calculated the terrain. There's nothing else in there. So, hold on, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11. So we're looking at 34 on 11. I really missed... Did I forget to count everything? 20, 30, 32 on 11. Sorry, maths is getting a bit crooked. 32 on 11, which is just 2 to 1. And then 1 to the left for that German artillery. Yep, defensive artillery. And then I have no barrage. Let's flip this and see what it is. Nothing. Damn. We have a Soviet division, pushes up to 2 to 1. We don't have combined arms, but the Germans do, which brings us back down to 1 to 1. Okay. Armor superiority, probably in German favour. Yeah, 1 white dot gives them 1 to the left. Jeez, this combat is not looking good. And that's it. Wow. So the lack of artillery here really hurt. The Germans found that armor. Okay, so we're looking at net 1 to 2, and there's going to be armor. So let's see how it happens. Oh, and the Germans cause a hit as well on that lead. Those guys. So they're dead. Sent to the eliminated area because they rolled the 1 there, which is less than the number of dots. And it's a net result of 5, which is a 1 hit but a retreat. Okay, so we cause a hit, but we do force them to retreat. And they could have said a no retreat here, but they didn't. So they'll pull back 1 hex, and I can advance. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get across. No, we'll advance down here. Why not? Okay. And then last combat, these guys are going to be halved because they're the 2 adjacent units. So they're 10. They're going to, oh wow, they're going to be halved again because they're yeah, there's a stream there. So I think they're halved twice. So 5, 21 on 10. No, they're in a stream and into a village, which adds 2, right? So they're 12. 21 v 12. So they're halved for across the stream, 8. They're halved for across the stream, 10. But they're halved again, I think twice as the most you can halve a unit. I'll just double check that. Never more than twice due to rain. Yeah, yep, can be halved twice. So they're basically halved once, halved again. They're down to 5 plus 8 is actually 13 v 12, which is 1-to-1 odds, not particularly strong. We don't have any AT, so there's no and there's no white units, so there's no armor. So we can flip that back to the non-armor side. Is it supported? Do I have? Yes, I do. I do have some supplies over here. Okay, artillery. Okay, so now I should have done this earlier. I forgot about artillery. I can draw upon all this. Oh, why didn't I do that earlier? I have all this artillery here. And here, mortar. Oh my goodness, completely forgot. All right, so let's use it. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6 support points. Right? Let's roll for that. And we get a 2, so 6 support points. 2 is going to be 2 column shifts to the right for this artillery, and they are spent. Okay. Done. The Germans can reach. They will flip and roll a die. It's just 1 support point. And a 2 is going to be 1 support point. 2 is a 1 column shift back to the left. Okay. No combat air support. We have a Soviet division attacking. I think they're eligible. 12.9.2. 2 or more steps applies if it is not halved by being in a ZOC. Yes, so this unit here is not halved by being in a ZOC, so they're eligible for that bonus. No combined arms. No armor superiority, no hilltop, no assault engineers, no outer supply. So we roll the dice on this 3-to-1, and it's an 8. 3-to-1, 8 is no effect. Wow. I threw all that artillery in for nothing. Okay, not to worry. And that's the end of the combat phase. But they are, all these units, I forgot, they are disorganized. They are disorganized. No, they're not. And they're not disorganized either. Because it wasn't a barrage. They are. They were barraged. them. Yeah, I think that covers everyone. I may have missed one. Okay, so that's the end of the combat phase. That was quite a lot to work through. Now we do the breakthrough segment. So the breakthrough segment is separate. We don't do it immediately after it. We wait and then we do it. Okay, not to worry. Oh boy, now we can do the reserve movement segment. But look, this has taken a long time with all the pausing. So I'm going to take a break, pause it here, have a think about the mistakes I've made. As I said, there'll probably be many mistakes, so I'll have to have a look through and see what I've done. I think I deleted a truck somewhere, so I'll try and find that. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.